and welcome to the ViBE at ViVE. I'm Orundhati Parmar with MedCity News, and today we have Rachel with Ford Hutman Media. So Rachel, you've been to so many conferences, healthcare conferences over the years.
I have.
How can you compare and contrast, say, JPM and HIMSS and Chime and Health 2.0 when we had it and ViVE?
Yeah, well, I love hearing you say Health 2.0 because I remember that one from years ago.
There
so
you go.
That's very interesting. Nice shout out there. But yeah, I mean, I have been to so many of these conferences and they all have, different valuable things about them. But I would say with JP Morgan, it's just so busy and noisy, and it's really hard for companies to rise above that noise. And I think HIMSS, unfortunately, is very similar to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only the big companies with big announcements seem to get any news coverage, and it's really hard for the smaller companies and the startups to really get noticed.
Fair enough.
So I think ViVE has been wonderful, especially from a thought leadership perspective, to get attention and also visibility with some of the right audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's in Miami, I mean, that's been absolutely fabulous.
You can't beat that, I agree.
In March, I mean.
Talk to me a little bit about how the pandemic may have changed how you advise your clients on where they should spend their PR and communications dollars.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, obviously, digital health has become incredibly important during the pandemic and sped up the industry probably about 5 to 6 years, I've heard some people say, which is wonderful, especially for us as patients. But what we are seeing, though, is that certain companies are really having, again, trouble kind of rising above. And so what I counsel my companies to do is to really kind of become their own thought leader and content developer using social media, their own content. And you have to be very differentiated in this market, and you have to stand out, right? You have to have a very crisp, clear story. And that's how I work with my clients to really help them kind of figure out what that value proposition is.
And I'm curious about, specific industries like biopharma, for instance.
Yeah.
It used to be very siloed, drugs, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And now it seems like there's digital therapeutics, decentralized clinical trials.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in this space in terms of digital transformation?
I mean, I think it's amazing how we're seeing that crossover now, right, with digital therapeutics, and we're really seeing the convergence of healthcare and technology, which is amazing. Again, for us as patients, I'm so excited about some of these digital technologies and hurry up, let's get them right. And I think that's really interesting. So as a communicator, you really have to understand healthcare at the 30,000 foot view. And for me, when I say healthcare, I kind of mean all of it, right? So biotech, biopharma, digital therapeutics, digital health. And I think that actually really helps me when I'm advising clients, because I can kind of go into my biotech side if I need to, but then I can also switch back over to digital health, because digital health is still kind of a new industry, right?
True.
And sometimes we don't even know exactly what we're talking about with digital health, which is kind of funny. So I think because of that, it's helpful to really have that kind of overarching view.
No, I agree. I think digital health, while exciting, there's still a lot of evidence they need to build.
Yep.
And proof before
Yes.
they see wide-scale adoption. I know the pandemic definitely helped.
Yeah.
So here's more interesting connections. So thank you so much, Rachel, for spending some time with us. And that's the ViBE at ViVE.